Hello, everyone. Just give me a minute to set up my presentation slides. All right, let's get our session started. Hello, everyone. My name is Mimi Liu, and I lead product marketing for a suite of measurement solutions here at Snapchat. Together with me, I also have my coworkers, Pierre and Sheila, with me here to answer any questions you may have after the presentation. A big thank you to the Rockerbox team for inviting us to attend this year's summer camp, and we're really excited to get started. So without further ado, let me just kind of go through the three main topics that we'll like to walk everyone through. The first is to share some platform agnostic research findings around the growing importance of social media platforms to supercharge. Oh, I'm sorry. Could you just give me 1 second here? Oh, apologies for the mild technical issue, but I am back here with all of you. So let me just kind of recap today's agenda. Firstly, we'll go through some recent discoveries from our research around the growing importance of social media in supercharging your commerce business and brands. And then we will double click into some of the unique benefits and qualities of Snapchat as a platform, as well as our key user demographic that can bring incremental value to your multi-channel strategy. And then we'll end off sharing more broadly about our recent successful integration with Rockerbox so that advertisers like yourselves can fully measure the true ROAS of your investments across platforms like Snapchat. So let's jump straight into the first topic around the growth of social media in growing your commerce and business. So from this graph, it kind of reconfirms our intuition and knowledge that commerce sales is growing exponentially on social media platform with its ever-growing presence in people's day-to-day lives. We project that social commerce sales will almost double in the next 2 years from about 69 billion currently to 107 billion in 2025. And so if you've not started to seriously consider investing in social media platform as one of your targeting sources, it's never too late to start now. And the reason why commerce sales is projected to expand rapidly through social media platform has to do mostly with consumer behaviors and their attitudes towards social media platforms. From past research over the years that we have done, we already have historical data showing that social media platforms in general already played a significant role in a user's purchase journey. We've done this research with thousands of survey respondents across multiple countries by various demographic groups. And so the graphs here, you can see it broken down by some example markets. From the dominant markets like the US, UK, or Germany, we see a pretty high level of interest for consumers to use social media in discovering a product, as seen by the left chart on this slide. Also, very interestingly, we find very good opportunities in emerging markets as well. So the example here given represents Saudi Arabia, where 97% of consumers use social media platforms to discover products, new services, as well as experiences. And then looking at how their attention on social media platform translates to actual business outcomes like driving sales, we also found pretty positive statistics. Dominant markets in US, UK, Germany, etc., shows that almost half of survey respondents have at least purchased one product on social media platform before. And of course, our example in the emerging markets here, Saudi Arabia, 80% of consumers have actually purchased products on social media. And then in the yellow boxes, there's some teaser statistics about Snapchat's unique performance. I will definitely talk more about that in the second topic. But for now, let's stick with some platform agnostic findings that we have. And then looking into the next couple of years, we will continue to observe social media as the most popular source for product discovery. 67% of our survey respondents have listed social media platforms as their top go-to destination to discover new brands, businesses, and services, versus some of the more traditional sources in the last couple of years, like online marketplaces, search engines, or online video sites. And if we kind of break down the findings by demographic buckets, we also find very promising statistics regarding the growth and health of our consumers going into the future. Not surprising here, Generation Z demonstrates the highest level of interest and open-mindedness to discovering new brands on social media platforms, with 72% of the surveyed respondents saying that they have used the platforms to discover new products. And just as a general reminder, Generation Z is defined as anyone born from 1997 and later. Following closely behind, their peers in the millennials bucket, born from 1981 to 1996, also demonstrates pretty high interest and inclination towards social media platforms as a product discovery source at 69% response rate. In favor of using social media platforms. Most interestingly, I think the Generation X bucket has also demonstrated remarkably high interest in using social media platforms, with 58% of them saying that they are currently using the platform for discovery and inspiration. So Generation X here is defined as anyone born from 1965 to 1980. Now that we have a lay of the land in the overall social media industry, let's double click into some of the unique characteristics and benefits that Snapchat as a platform can bring to your overall multi-channel strategy. In extension to the more platform agnostic statistics, our research also found that Snapchat users are even more reliant on social media platforms for product discovery. As seen from the charts on the right, you can see that Generation Z bucket on Snapchat are 26% more likely than the industry benchmark to use social media platforms to discover new experiences and services. Likewise, the millennial group on Snapchat have a 10% higher inclination to do so, versus Generation X on Snapchat that have a 2% lift in their interests. The main takeaway here is that on Snapchat, we're confident that advertisers and businesses like yourselves can find high quality, high intent, and highly engaged audience for your brands to build a strong brand resonance. And we're also confident that when you use MTA methods with Rockerbox to analyze the multiple channels, we believe that the overlap between Snapchat and your other channels will produce highly engaged audiences. The reason why Snapchat users are found to be a lot more inclined and leaning towards social media is mostly because they're in a very positive, happy frame of mind when they come to our platform. 75% of them come to Snapchat to interact with their closest circle of family and friends, kind of setting their mindset to be more open to new content, new information, and also in an extension, new value propositions brought forth by various brands and services. And this is why our audience continues to grow. In Q4 of last year, we ended the year with about 375 million daily active users, and that has grown 17% year over year from Q4 of 2021, which has greatly surpassed the industry growth rate from some of our peer sets in the industry. And on top of that, 75% of our consumers belong to the 13 to 34-year-old population across 20 plus countries in some of the most important and high opportunity markets around the world. They've expressed that friends are some of their most powerful influencers. About 91% of Snapchat users trust recommendations from friends and family as a good source of information about brands and services. In addition, 3 in 4 Snapchat users say that the platform is the best way for them to shop with their friends, even though they are not physically together. Now, I think their attitude towards the Snapchat platform also directly translates to positive business outcomes, driving greater brand growth, and also driving more purchases. Our research back in 2022 with Amplified Intelligence Research Organization have shown that Snapchat users pay more attention to ads on Snapchat. The industry benchmark for full-screen vertical video ads show that typical consumers pay active attention to about 38% of the time when viewing the vertical video ads. And on Snapchat, they actually spent double the amount of attention at 79%, showing their level of high engagement with video ads on our platform. Now, you may ask, what is attention metrics and why the industry in recent years and months have been talking more and more about this metric. So at Snapchat, we evaluate the attention metrics through 3 dimensions, and this largely follow how the industry overall tend to measure attention. Number 1, it refers to the active attention, which we can track with our special research organizations by tracking a consumer's eyes and their focus on screen towards the ad. And then we also want to measure the business outcomes that our advertisers care about. So the second dimension here is around how attention can be measured through short-term brand lift. This is where consumers, we measure the inclination of consumers to choose your brand choice among your competitive set. And then more long-term, the third dimension measures brand loyalty. This specifically refers to the propensity for a brand to be noticed or thought about in usage situations, such as when a time for purchase has arrived and the consumer needs to actually decide on a particular brand to commit to in their purchase. Attention as a metric has gained a lot of tracking within the advertising industry, particularly relative to determining whether an ad was seen and coded to memory. And this is because of 3 main reasons. Number 1, attention is a real human response to an ad that is clearly visible and measurable. And number 2, attention certainly drives business impact, which we'll talk a little bit about how that manifests on the Snapchat platform. Number 3, attention also, of course, measures your overall advertising quality in terms of your copy as well as creatives chosen. So this is just a simple visualization again of what I've just gone through around the importance of attention to advertising. It brings memory retention, and then also brings mental availability in the long term that manifests into brand loyalty and ultimately drives brand growth as well as market share for advertisers. There are 5 key elements to consider when it comes to optimizing for the attention metrics. Number 1, it really depends on the type of platform you're advertising on, such as Snapchat versus traditional search engines or video sites, etc. Number 2, the creative format chosen is another great lever you can consider to optimize attention. Third, context and content refers to the environment that the consumer is digesting your ad in relation to the other content that they are consuming in the background. Number 4, demographic refers to the audience that you're targeting with your campaigns to drive attention. And last but not least, the quality of creative that we'll also talk a little bit immediately in the next couple slides. So I would like to briefly walk us through some of the key findings that speak about how Snapchat as a platform or as a source in general enables you to optimize for the best attention and business outcome. From a platform perspective, Snapchat is able to drive about 2x more attention, as shown from past findings in 2022 that I've shared previously. In terms of ad format, we have found that on Snapchat, shorter ad length pack a lot more punch because attention is highly inelastic for up to 8 seconds, meaning that consumers are the most receptive to new messaging and information in that first 8 seconds before their attention starts to decline. In terms of audience, a Generation Z are more attentive in the first couple seconds. In general, they appear to pay less attention overall. However, they are paying more attention than other generations, especially in the first 4 seconds of video ads. And then, of course, in terms of optimizing for creative, it's extremely important that your main messaging and the main hook of your value proposition is presented in the first couple seconds. And it also benefits your business to customize your creative by platform as well as by the countries that you're targeting to make sure, for instance, that the languages are translated correctly, that you leverage representative influencers or content in your videos. So here is kind of like a simple graph to kind of demonstrate how attention plays out on our Snapchat platform. As said previously, the industry benchmark for video ads are at about 38% of active attention. The blue lines here represent how video ads of varying length perform on Snapchat. I made the mistake of not differentiating the different shades of blue, but I think the message gets across clearly overall that in the first 6 seconds, video ads, regardless of their length, tend to perform much better than the industry average. And then past the 6-second mark, you can see that attention starts to decline, sometimes more rapidly than the industry average. And this is, of course, again, related to how Snapchat's consumers are more dominant in younger generations, where their attention span are stronger in the first couple seconds versus later on. Now, in terms of how high quality attention translates to high quality business outcomes, we have found that Snapchat users are more likely to remember branded content, both short-term and long-term. How much? Specifically, 17% more memory encoding for Snapchat users when they have consumed an ad on Snapchat. And again, this ties back to their frame of mind when using our platform, as they stay a lot more open to ingesting new information and content, sometimes from friends, sometimes from meaningful influencers or relationships that they forge on our platform. This also directly translates to growing your bottom line. Snapchat users are more likely to act on branded content. They are 45% more likely to recommend brands compared to industry average in the research we've done with Neuro Insights back in 2022. In addition, they are also 34% more likely than industry benchmark to purchase products advertised. And in terms of creative format, here I want to make a special call out to some of our industry-leading creative formats that we offer for our advertisers that can bring incremental value to your overall campaign strategy. So AR ad has been talked about a lot, and here we are showcasing 3 different examples about how AR ads not only can drive higher brand resonance and memory encoding. In addition, they also solve one of the most pressing problems in terms of goods returns in the commerce vertical. Over half of shoppers on Snapchat agree that AR gives them more confidence about product quality. They are able to use AR ads and filters on Snapchat to kind of try out new items such as accessories, makeup, or clothes in general before making a purchase decision. 7 in 10 consumers are interested in using AR to interact with the product before buying it. And like I've said, regarding the issue of goods returns, that is a $550 billion problem, which we think AR can help fix. AR guided purchases, we found, led to an overall 25% decrease in returns when we tested it with a couple of purchase scenarios here at Snapchat. Now, I also want to do a special call out to some of the actual packages that we are offering to advertisers. Again, this is just one example out of the various packages that we offer. So the one featured here is called the Snap Star package, which amplifies opportunities for engagement between brands and consumers. Package details here, for instance, can include one first lens. On Snapchat, we call the special AR filter a lens. And first lens here refers to the opportunity for advertisers' lens to be prioritized as the front and foremost option when a consumer opens up the repository to choose a different lens when creating content. So being kind of front and center of that repository means more likelihood for consumers to end up choosing your lens to be shared out across their network at Snapchat. On top of that, as part of the package, advertisers get the opportunity to also leverage some of the influencers on Snapchat. Here we call them Snap Stars. So Snap Stars / influencers are able to use your lens to create organic content that will be propagated to all of their fan base and potentially prospective followers as well. In addition, advertisers also get the opportunity to directly leverage and include the content created by influencers into their own ad campaign. Here, that gives additional opportunity to refine your brand value propositions and messaging on top of that curated content. And by propagating the ad in an ad format versus organic also means more reach for more consumers to discover and engage with your products. Now, I will end off our presentation by talking more broadly about our latest integration with Rockerbox in order to help advertisers maximize their ROI across platforms, including Snapchat. So using MTA at Rockerbox can unlock cross-channel marketing insights, while Snapchat, like various publishers, offer a pretty robust suite of ad manager reporting tools. The inherent limitation here is that individual social platforms don't have the ability to factor in the rest of your marketing. So you don't get that overview of how various channels play together to graduate a consumer across the purchase journey. With the Rockerbox MTA, you can discover how Snapchat's mobile-first and social discovery-focused quality of our platform can bring incremental value to your cross-channel and cross-device strategy. You can also leverage the flexible attribution offered by Rockerbox to get the most comprehensive view of your ad events and conversions. In particular, Rockerbox have integrations with 200 other sources on top of Snapchat. So pretty much covers most, if not all, of the publishers that you are using in your multi-channel media strategy. On top of that, Rockerbox also offers a range of attribution methodologies, including multi-touch, halo analysis, geo-lift, media mix, incrementality, etc., which is something that we really appreciate about partnering with Rockerbox, because this ultimately allows advertisers to measure the true value of their Snapchat campaign. Like we've kind of talked about in the previous slides, Snapchat as a platform is very visually oriented. So it's really important to be able to track the impact of users that see an ad and not actually click it. Enabling the Snapchat view-through integration can be a more accurate representation of your Snapchat campaign's impact on your bottom line in the form of performance improvements towards reducing cost per acquisition and improving ROI. So overall, just as a sneak preview here, from our beta experiment with Rockerbox, we actually observed performance improvements with our beta advertisers, anywhere in the range of 2 to 10x. And we expect that most customers will see something in that range as well in our now publicly available integration with Rockerbox. Now you may be asking, what sort of ideal candidate will really benefit and unlock value from running the Rockerbox MTA? So first, this is particularly beneficial to brands looking to better understand the impact of Snapchat on their business and the role our channel plays within the customer journey within their broader media mix. Number two, direct to consumer as well as e-commerce brands that plan to consistently spend on Snapchat can get more accurate results on MTA, which really rely on high quality, consistent data stream to run analysis. On top of that, advertisers who are interested in experimenting with or leveraging more sophisticated attribution methods such as MTA, MMM, geo-lift will also be great candidates to either get their feet wet in the MTA world or simply jump right in to fully commit in running MTA, which has shown to give a more representative view of how the different channels play together. So I wouldn't really kind of talk too much about the technical details here, since Rockerbox representatives will be more than equipped to answer those questions. I'll just briefly walk us through some overview about the particular features that Snapchat especially appreciates of Rockerbox. First, Rockerbox tracks social media campaigns through URL parameters, pixels, and log files that allow advertisers to see the spend and ad activity data centralized all together very conveniently in their Rockerbox platform. Also, Rockerbox leverages platform data as well as unique Rockerbox data to determine the likely impact of ad events on platforms like Snap and peer sets in the industry. And then also, Rockerbox enables organic tracking by tracking your social touchpoints through referring domains and UTMs. All right, this kind of marks the conclusion of our presentation. Please feel free to reach out to any of us if you're interested in knowing more about the Snapchat and Rockerbox partnership. Here you can find my email at Snapchat for direct questions. I understand that deciding to run MTA or thinking about investigating more into MTA is a big decision and an important one. So after the presentation, if questions come to mind, feel free to contact myself, or for Rockerbox specific technical questions, we also have Addie here from Rockerbox that you can contact as well. With that said, I will now invite my coworkers, Sheila and Pierre, to join me on stage, and we're more than happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Mimi. That was wonderful. We're happy to take any questions from the audience. I'm Sheila. I manage measurement partnerships here at Snap and primarily focus on DR and down funnel performance, and have been working with the wonderful Rockerbox team for the past couple of years here. Pierre, I'll let you introduce yourself
hi everyone.
as well.
I'm Pierre. I'm a marketing science lead, also on mostly on the DR and performance book.
Well, if we're not getting any questions, we did actually reach out to the Rockerbox team in advance of this presentation to ask if there are any common questions that are coming up among our advertisers. And I'm happy to just start running through those in case if anything jogs your mind, feel free to reach out to us in the chat. So we have received quite a lot of questions about what sort of creative works best. And I think Mimi's done a great job of highlighting some of our unique ad formats that perform well earlier in her presentation. And brands can actually easily test and learn. We have some very simple AR shopping templates. The try-on lenses are very popular among beauty, apparel, and other retail advertisers because it makes it very easy for any Snapchatter to share a photo of you trying on sunglasses out to your friends. And our shoppable lenses allow you to place a CTA where Snapchatters can directly purchase your product. But if you are interested in driving deeper product engagement, dynamic product ads are also a great option to enable entire AR-ready catalogs for your brand. And we'll suggest working closely with your account team at Snap. They can provide tailored recommendations on experiments that help you understand how your creative strategy is working, and consider tests about different messaging, creative that resonates well with your audience, how different audiences perform when exposed to your ads, and the effectiveness of different customer journeys. And I see a couple of folks dialed in that I know are already working closely with our teams now. So that's great to see. And another question that we get a lot is how long we should plan to test in order to get a read on performance. This integration is new and very exciting. We were able to run a beta prior to launching, and what we learned from that, and we'll be able to share more generalized best practices in the future, is that we'd suggest running a campaign for at least 8 weeks per quarter and over 2 consecutive quarters at least, which should net to approximately 2 million impressions per week. Our hope is that this time and scale will ensure that Snap has the best potential for representation through the MTA reporting view in Rockerbox. And we also wanted to note that it will take a full 30 days for Rockerbox to reflect the full performance impact. All right, I'll pause there. Pierre and Mimi, was there anything that you wanted to cover as well?
I can talk more briefly about another common question around how advertisers think about splitting budget between prospecting and retargeting. So both prospecting and retargeting strategies are pretty complementary towards your direct response goals or performance marketing goals. So we really recommend testing for each campaign to maximize your ROI and decide on what split is the most performant. Ultimately, it really depends on your business strategy and where you are in terms of business maturity. So for instance, if you are running a new business line as part of your brand that focuses, that can benefit from focusing on acquisition more, so leaning more towards prospecting might make sense in the earlier stages of launch. And then later on, you can always rebalance across retargeting once you have acquired some following and gotten a sense of where the brand resonates with in particular demographic groups. That's around the time where it's also most economical to start optimizing towards retargeting campaigns. All right, it looks like we have a question from the floor asking, for brands not running ads on Snap today, what are they missing out on compared to other platforms? Here we kind of gone through briefly some of the advantages of advertising with Snapchat. I think the number one thing to highlight in terms of what incremental value we can bring as a platform is really the strength of our overall users here at Snapchat. A lot of them are the younger waves of consumers, and nurturing them early in their journey to build resonance and loyalty can really pay long-term dividends in building that overall brand loyalty as they grow in their followership of your brand, as well as they grow in their purchasing income over the years. And then on top of that, I would also emphasize that Snapchat continues to really grow in terms of consumer outreach in emerging markets. So that will be, for instance, another incremental audience group that you may want to target. So like I talked briefly about emerging markets like Saudi Arabia or India, etc. We have pretty strong followership and daily active users in some of the markets. And if you reach out to any of our Snapchat representatives, we are more than happy to share more about some of the incremental reach that you can get from Snapchat. So have I missed anything? Is there more to add, Sheila and Pierre?
No, I think you covered it. Another plug for the AR formats and try-on. I do think that it's a unique offering that we are able to share with our audience and community. All right. Well, I think that I don't see any questions coming in. As Mimi mentioned, please feel welcome to reach out to us, to Rockerbox, to learn more about the integration, or also to share your feedback for those who've already been able to get started. And we look forward to working with you. And a huge thank you again for the Rockerbox team having us at summer camp. And thank you very much. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Mimi, Sheila, Pierre. Thank you guys for hopping on. That was really great. And you mentioned the AR slide. I thought that slide in particular was really interesting. First, just the volume of the return problem. I didn't know was that huge. And also the impact that AR had on that. So I thought that was particularly interesting. And then really just all the audience insights I thought were great. You know, you just don't see those every day.
Yeah, I totally agree. I thought it was a wonderful session. Snap sits in such a unique place in kind of like the social network matrix. And so I thought this session was really wonderful. I think there's a lot of really great benefits that brands might not be, especially smaller, like emerging brands who haven't really thought about Snap advertising. I think there's so much opportunity. And kind of like speaking back to what Sheila and Mimi were sharing, and even your point, Maggie, I think that there are just new ways to get in front of the audience. And Snap is really at the forefront of a lot of those. I also thought the attention metric was really interesting. It's such a great tool or insight for brands, knowing that, not only that their ad played, but that it was actually seen, which is something that not all networks, not all social channels give you access to. So I think that was a really interesting metric to watch as well. So overall, great session. Thank you so much to the Snap team for joining us. And we're looking forward to what's next. Maggie, what do we have next on the agenda?
Yeah, so we've got another great session onto our third session of the day. And we've got Chase, great guy, great presenter over at Pencil, who's going to talk about how to make ads a moat for your brand. And to find out what that means, you're going to have to join that session.
Yes.
So join us over there. You're going to get a link in your email in just a few minutes here with your unique join link to that Demio presentation. So join us over there. We'll be starting at 1 o'clock. So bring your questions and we'll see you there.
All right. See you there.